Hello and welcome to today's Inspirational Talk. My name is Annabelle Ola and I'm the Senior Entrepreneurship Officer here at GBS. This talk is brought to you as part of the GBS Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Programme, an extracurricular program designed to support students and recent graduates to start or grow a successful business. We will be hearing from Rohit Anand today, a technical product manager at Visa with extensive experience in developing and managing customer-centric software products. He is an expert in the FinTech domain, and he recently graduated from the University of Oxford with an MBA focused on strategy and technology. So now we'll be hearing this guest talk. So without further ado, please get comfortable and listen and learn from Rohit.
Finished it, close to distinction, still not, but yeah, I completed that successfully, moved back to London and got a job with Visa. And it was not an easy way. It was not easy to get a job again, even after going through the MBA, because it's a degree, nevertheless, but you need skills. You need to show the experience to get a job. At the end of the day, company wants to make money. So this, coming back to London, was something that I wanted to do, and I'm now here for long term. So the companies I worked for, Infosys, all these three companies are very huge companies. Infosys employs approximately 300,000 people, and they have so many people working for them in different countries, different places, different cities. With Infosys, because they serve their clients, I worked with UBS, worked with them for close to 7 years in their offices, in their different offices. If you know UBS, UBS is a Swiss bank. And we have people serving rich clients. They had people serving rich clients, moving a lot of money from one account, or moving a lot of money, investing a lot of money to make their clients rich. After completing these two things, I had a good knowledge of financial industry, and I always felt that I wanted to move to something more closer to business. I started from a technical perspective, completely working on what you can say, implementation side of it and releasing products, to something more strategic, where I can think, where I can decide what I want to do, where I can decide what I want to build for, and why I want to build. That was time for me to get an MBA. So after UBS, I went to do my MBA, and after MBA, into Visa. Now at Visa, I work in our innovation setup. I work as a technical product manager in the innovation hub. Now, the concept of innovation hub is getting very popular these days, and a company like Visa, which is where the companies like Visa is crucial for innovation in the ecosystem or in the industry, because they have so much of you can say bandwidth to implement. If it's a startup, they do not have bandwidth to do the innovation, to experiment or build new things. But working with Visa, it's a pleasure, because I get chance to do things, to think about new ideas, to think about new possibilities, to think about the new, think about the people I want to impact my work with. So yes, after completing Visa, so now I'm at Visa. And there was a reason. This was a conscious decision why I chose to be in this industry. Now, how many of you are aware of FinTech, like understand what FinTech is? And yes, please, just very close. There's still a big difference. There is still a big difference. Anyone else? Just want to give a shot? Okay. Yes. So that's true. But think about it. Technology has always been with finance, but this term got popular in the last 20 years. Why so? Like, the stock market started from 100 years back, and they were automated. The new technology started coming in. You have phone banking. You had internet banking. But this term was not there. This term came recently, maybe 10 years, 15 years. Not that old. So the difference basically is, when you look into finance, the main cause of using technology was that technology was a supporting function. The finance people were deciding everything, and the finance people were deciding who they want to work with. And always the advantage was only on selective clients, the rich clients, the investment banks, the wealth, the high net worth individual. So that was the main focus of financial services. So you can see there were there were limited use of banks. There was limited use of, you can say, the bank branches and all, and it was there, but the cost was really high. So they could only serve to a limited number of people. Now, FinTech changed this thing. FinTech made technology as the main point of the finance that they are trying to bring difference to. So they have now people, they focus on how you can improve the customer experience and all, so that they spread this to a lot of people, to the larger population. And the idea for me, the main driver was when I was a kid. I mean, I think about it now. When I was a kid, my dad was never like, we were very middle class, to say about that. And when I grew up, I could see, like, when I was university, undergrad, and masters, those people, their parents had opportunities to invest their money, recycle their money, grow their money. And for my parents, it was not that available, because they got the telephone quite late in their life. They had no internet, and even had no knowledge to how to actually invest and grow our money, use our money. So we were always dependent on working and getting the money. Now, FinTech, when I realized, now the situation has changed. Now you have investment teams. Now you have funds. You can auto invest. You can grow your money by auto investing. And all this has been only become possible because of FinTech. The technology has brought the power to do faster data analysis, to actually get insights that can bring that value proposition to more customers. That's why it was one of the biggest driver for me to get into FinTech. And this is, I'll say, it's a very fulfilling job for me. And I feel that I'm contributing to changing something in the society. If I have to discuss, we are working on certain things that are going to change how you make payment today, make it more easier, or make it more transparent, how you buy, how you shop, or how you actually verify yourself. So there are things that we are trying to do, and it's very good. Now, before moving to the next chapter, or what you can say, next topic, I want to say that there are certain things in my life, the characteristic, the personality features that help me actually grow through the childhood and set myself apart from all the 300,000 people in Infosys, or so many people in UBS, and take the path where I could enjoy more. The first city, I can think about when I was working in UBS, there was so many people working the same type of job I was working in. I was an engineer there, and so many engineers, everyone was working the same. But I remember I never said that this is not my job, or like, this is not my department. This is not my job. I should not be working on this. I don't want to work on this. I agreed that it has to be a separate line, but it was also because I wanted to learn about it, set myself apart. So when I was working in UBS, I had something that I was working on a product that actually created some sort of problem in 2008 financial crisis, if you are aware of that. Now, all the people who were involved in building that application, for me, it was a question of why would we are building this? What happened in 2008? What will happen if you don't do this product, if you don't create this product? The question of why is very, very important. When you look into curiosity, I mean, it's an engine of growth. When you ask question why, you start digging deeper into it. You start finding the root cause of this. You start finding ways you can solve this problem. You can start finding ways you can improve this problem. Going into organization, I think you can always work in the same job. You can keep working, and you will. I mean, at many of times, people who are not curious, they do not have something that sets them apart. But when you're curious, you generate that knowledge that sets you apart. And you have to work hard to get those knowledge. So that is something very important, curiosity. But apart from curiosity, effort is most important part of fulfilling the curiosity, the curious nature you have. So in one line, you can say that curiosity is a fuel, effort propels you to the success. The next is critical thinking. Now, this is less talked about, but it's getting more popular. Now, all the for MBA exams and all, where we write GMAT, and that is a special section of critical thinking. That's where you ask questions about it. Now, this critical thinking is about analyzing the data, understanding the assumptions that conclusion is based on, thinking about what's being not told to you or what is hidden, what can be other possibility. It's a very high intellectuality level where you can reach and get set again apart yourself from the crowd. Now, one person which is very popular today, is popularizing one of the concept of critical thinking is called first principle view, and the person is Elon Musk. He has talked about it a lot of time. He has talked about how he thinks about the problem. Now you can see Elon Musk has done not Twitter, but he has done PayPal, SpaceX, and all these great companies. Because and he has himself into so many things because he thinks that he can start from the first principle, asking the question, why is it this and how it is being done, for the basics of this question. So critical thinking is most important, and actually this is something that's missing today in the world, and most of the, I would say, problems what we think today is because of the lack of thinking, the fake news, the antitrust, and all that stuff. People are not thinking at times. So I think critical thinking is one of the most important aspects of success that we are looking for. The third thing which I wanted to forward is perseverance. Failure is part of your success. You are bound to fail. You're bound to, unless you're not trying anything, you will get into a situation you can't help, but you have to take a step back. I think in those situations, if you not perceive, you are letting go of the opportunity to achieve something better. One phrase that I always use, and I have used for many times, you have to make yourself comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Because when you fail, when you meet other people, and when you have, let's say, even when you're working with colleagues, you have difficult relationships, you get into a situation, but you still have to think about what you can fix, how you can fix it. So if you get yourself comfortable, talk out through it, work towards the common goal, that's what I call getting comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. I think these three things, what has been with me through my life and has helped me to reach where I am. I think I'm going to rely on these three things, add more to be more successful. I think I'll end my presentation here. And if you want to connect with me, talk to me more about it, you can please connect here on the LinkedIn. Thank you. Open for questions. I can ask you questions. Which courses are you guys from? What courses are you doing here? Accounting and finance. And where do you want to go after this course? What job? or business, or what do you want to do? But you have any choice, like maybe which industry where you want to go or something? You just started. You have 4 years to go. You have business students here or anyone who is coming back, like who has already completed the course and want to move jobs or anything? Yeah. Yeah. I think at the moment, the biggest change we are seeing in the market is AI and is getting everywhere. Chat GPT has changed. To be honest, Chat GPT is not going to last long as a product. You may see fading it away, like Metaverse. Metaverse was a big thing few year or so back, but it has been scaled down. It's not going to change. It's not going to come back. So artificial intelligence on Chat GPT may go away, but there are larger implications of artificial intelligence that are going to stay. It will make it more faster, all the calculation and all. So I think from that perspective, people should make with AI terminologies. You can use it. I don't think it's going, I'm not pessimistic about it, that's going to change uh, make the jobs redundant or so. I always have felt that humans are bound to do higher order things. It will take over some of the repetitive tasks, some of the tasks that you are not required to do, and the machines will do. So getting used to those tools, the tools that come, even in accounting, there are so many Excel plugins that are coming now, or that the use. But there are other things that you can do as a business. I think the strategy is a very, very important aspect of business. And for strategy, you always have to keep yourself updated about the business scenario, what's coming new, what are the competitive, how is it going to affect the competition and all. So keeping up yourself updated for it, the challenges in the market is very, very important. I think things to and understanding the change technology landscape and understanding strategy are the main things. Yeah. I think you have to put it in the context. So learning is very important. Be delegated to learning can be delegated to you cannot ask AI to write something about you that just yourself from learning. You are, right? So there, yes, it's a basically again a skill question and a higher order question. You cannot stop. You cannot stop the thing is you cannot stop the evolution of technology. If you stop one thing, you may end up stopping many other things that can be helpful for human well-being. Now, AI is being used a lot in medical science, medical imagery, X-rays, and all, and it's going to take to a level where these things will be much cheaper. Like the doctor will be much cheaper for you. But you have to grow that level, and so how governments or how companies take it, the guardrails, recorded guardrails, that we cannot go guardrails. You have to use the information, but you'll have to always apply your mind is coming as the right thing or not. But yes, I fully agree. And I think being through that situation, you should not be using it to produce something that we were supposed to do ourselves. It will stop our our we use AI, but then you'll be competing against many other people, and you're competing in conference rooms. You'll be competing in rooms where you'll not get a help from AI. So I think generating those abilities is very, very crucial for long-term success. Yeah. I think that's a very important aspect of when you when you took a mid-career education or you leave out of your comfort zone. I, the focus on growth, the focus on growth is very important, where the long-term goals are. That's the most important aspect. And so that creates a drive inside you to get there, see what it is. I took certain decisions in the past that actually I was able to be comfortable in future. For me, uh, money was an important factor because I never came from money. I came from a very modest family, and I wanted to use that my further education. So I always thought about the long-term aspects. I didn't get into financial obligations that would have stopped me from doing something. Obligations means investing or buying something that I have to pay for a longer term. So all these things, so stopping myself from making a long-term, difficult, big financial obligation helped me make it seem I can do this. I have the capacity, I can get into it. Plus, the time management was the biggest thing. When I was working for my MBA, when I had to do my GMAT, I was working 8 hours in office, more than 8 hours, because in tech, you don't have count of hours. So I'm working more than 8 hours, and I was still spending 4 hours after my office to study, to prepare my for me. And I think that was the most important factor here was, again, the drive to reach there, drive to see myself with everyone who I admire. When I was at, I think, Oxford, it was again very challenging. It was challenging because the people were from so many different countries and different perspective and background, and I was one individual coming from a different side of the part of the world. It was again challenging, but I think focusing objectives that I wanted to get out of the program, get out of the program, I think was important for me, and that helped me stay sane, sane there, and achieve what I wanted to do. I think these are most of the things that I can discuss about, and I think help me through. Can you come again? Yeah. So the first thing, there are the digital banking. Banking is very important if you think. People have to save money. People want to have to grow money. You cannot keep money anywhere, or even for businesses, you cannot keep money at the home. So you have to. So banking is very important. The first thing that actually FinTech brought to this world was digital banking. Now, if you have to do, you have to do Monzo. You can, if you have Monzo, you can open bank account from anywhere. You don't have to go to the bank. It saves money. It saves time for you. It takes banking to everyone. Now, imagine in other countries where the bank is 80 kilometers away or 100 kilometers away from their home, the nearest branch office. They are also not open. People have to spend their time to go there. They're losing their daily wages. They're losing their income for that day to go to the bank. So FinTech actually revolutionized this and brought this banking to everyone. So you can do banking everywhere. The second is the need to reduce cash was also very important. I think banking, digital banking, the contactless, the card system, reducing the cost by making it more machine learning is reducing the cost of doing the transaction. Because when you go there, when you do a card transaction, then the shopkeeper gets less money. If you're supposed to do something for £2, and if you pay by card, the shopkeeper, the business owner will probably get 1.95 or 1.90. So there is no incentive. There was no incentive. Of course, we are trying to FinTech, trying to build incentive card accepted more frequently than it is today. Other things are we are also working to consolidate what you can say the use of your identification data at times, which is helpful in many ways, so that the government can send benefits if send it to cutting down in many different parts of the world. It's very hard to get benefits. Like South Africa, when I was doing a project there, I learned about when you give the people gets grants, and oftentimes it's robbed. Same happens in the country at times also. So if the FinTech can bring those people closer to the bank, closer to the government, they can get very easy. I think these are the things we are really building to help bridge those gaps, use the cost of getting and reduce the cost of doing business. Sorry, come again? That's a good question, but that's a policy question. Banks are again have to grow, and the governments have the responsibility, or the regulators have the responsibility to protect that. You cannot live in a world where there is no banking. It's very hard to conceive that world. So we live in that world where banking is present. We create rules that to follow, and we follow on that rules. I think if you take the approach of no innovation, no contact, it's going to go backwards. Yeah. That money is feeding, that money is giving employment to so many people who are working in banks, who are working in shops, living, working there. It's creating a system which also, if the banks start getting money, a good system, they can deploy that money in giving cheaper mortgages. They can deploy that money in giving more services to individuals. Their business, the proper economics say that, the true economics say that if you're getting more money, you'll move into a way where the demand and supply will be in balance, and it will be.
China. Some place in China, you can't buy people using your WeChat or whatever. They're not going to be buying. So you can do the same thing here.
But that's the yeah. But that's the policy decision, the regulation. The government here have mandated that you cannot close down everything, and they will not unless everyone is started using that. Prevalence of contactless is very, very high here. But if you go to London, people are accepting cash. Exactly. I mean, it's a shop owner's decision. It's its independence to stop taking cash. By not taking cash, they are making a business loss, and it's their decision to not taking that. It's their business loss. So making a conscious decision to do that. If every stop suppose every stop, so everyone's taking cash, there is an opportunity to start a business where you can start taking cash, and all the people who want to do a transaction in cash can go to that shop. Yeah, this is business. Sure. Sorry, sorry, I can't hear you. Which business? What is a business? I think a business is basically to provide service, make sorry. For my definition of business is you get a service in exchange of something that you get. So business is only possible when there are two sides of transaction. I'm providing you service. But the system was a business where I was providing you something and you are getting something. This business is also you're giving me back, I'm giving you some service. I 100% agree. And that's a very, very good point. And that's the point we haven't seen a big transformational change in this country where things are changing. And the KYC rules, know your customer rules, the AML, the anti-money laundering, and all are still there. But taking that view, the innovation, the people like us who are into innovation are bound to bring those changes that make it transparent. So just imagine a case where I'm going to give you an example. People sometimes may not have a bank account in this country, and or let's say do not let's understand they do not have a property or bank account in this country, but they do not have a credit score. We all work for a credit score. There are companies, you can say that they're trying to think about how we can get those information about those people, their spending patterns, so that we can create a product, a lending product for them, so they can get it. So these are the innovations that you can bring in AML and money laundering also. Again, the policy question is, do we really want to loosen our view on money laundering or no? No, the government doesn't. That's the guardrail. Again, we call it a guardrail, and any innovation or anything has to conform to those, has to be inside. You have a valid point, and I've seen reports that I think in some places in rural areas, post office was doing the transactions or banking on behalf of them. They are trying to do something there also that they use. Banks are trying to, banks maybe trying to reduce something there. It's a problematic business. You will only take it. Again, the business leave out everyone and just open the digital banking. The governments can regulate it that you cannot leave out. They cannot go on making money, making profit all the time. So the balance between the policy making and the business will create a situation where everyone can get those opportunities with banking and still can go to the bank, still the time it is required. You will have to repeat your question again, sorry. I'll bring an example of what I experienced in my life. So as I mentioned, I think maybe you're not there. So my parents were not able to. I come from India, and I come from a very backward state of India. We can say that there is hardly. It's one of the poorest. You can say like that. So when my parents were there, I grew up. All my childhood was there. So when I grew up, I saw my parents were not able to do any stock market investment because investments will grow your money, or else you'll keep earning the same salary base. So they were not able to invest it. Now, at the moment, my parents, my everyone, even whoever is living in that part, any part of that country, is able to invest their money through internet, through something called funds investment, online funds investment, and can track their progress, can learn about those investments and make a decision whether to invest or not. I think these kind of technologies that bring the cost of business to lower down the cost of business, improves it. In many, another example, India or in many other Latin America or in Africa. In Africa, you can think about the mobile money, the SIM card, the SMS-based money transfer. That's actually making the money transfer the end goal of simplifying the transaction. It's achieved there. The means are different, but the end goal is fulfilled. In India, we had QR code-based system, which actually helped doing the contactless transaction very often, lowering the cost for doing the transaction, making contactless or making banking more easier for people. So that's how I think we'll bridge those gaps and bring them equal to the developed countries. That's a good question, but I think at some point of time they will become. At some point in time, yeah. At some point in time, they will become, and they will reach a status where they can drive some. I think there are companies coming in from Africa or from India or from, you can say, Latin America. There are companies coming up building things here. I don't think so. So an innovation, I think there is no limitation to innovation. Innovation works in all the departments and in all the areas, and it brings new technology to people to solve the problem they are having. It has to be contextualized. If there is no, if a problem, like the problem here is, big problem is data privacy. We have solutions here in this country. In many other countries, the data privacy is not that big a problem. So we do not have solutions to that. So we have different problems, and we're working on that, those countries, to solve those problems. Any more? Yeah. So specifically, the 2008 financial crisis was based on market structure problem, the compliance, the regulatory problems that had the government, the regulators had an oversight. The bankers were doing whatever they wanted to do and selling whatever they wanted to sell to people. After that, I myself have worked on the projects that build those blocks where these financial if it occurred in the same way, it will be prevented, giving more insight. But saying that, financial recessions and it's a cyclic system. It happens. It always happens. The demand and supply and the interest rates will always going to work in a certain way that you will see recession and you'll see crisis in market. So I don't think it's going to stop, but we'll have to develop those abilities to preempt them and reduce the stress on people that it brings. I think that's the way going to be understanding it more, painting it more, and making structure that helps use the impact. So I think standalone bit is not an investment. It has no basis. The only basis is the energy consumption. And see, for money generation, always have to have a basis. How is the money we are getting? We are delivering some value. Yes, there is a technological algorithm. Barely surviving now. And so it's gonna stay there. People will make money by transaction. It's a zero-sum game. Coins are available in the market. Someone will lose to someone else to gain. So probably there's not going to be much of use. Underlying technology, distributed ledger, is very important. And new systems, it's creating more transparency, creating more better systems in technology. But yes, Bitcoin as a coin of investment, I don't think there is any value in it. Someone is losing money to make that's some game. So there are two things. So there are two things. Okay. So there are two things. And you all are accounting students. Like we manage account on individual basis, there is an accounting process going in central banks. There is an accounting process going in government's books. So yes, you're right. There are reports allegedly that some countries are printing money from nowhere, but the legal basis of money, the cash has to be somewhere. We are getting like, let's say, if we have a bank and it's digital, just increase the money reserves they have just by adding them, just by changing it. It's not possible because there are laws to prevent that, and the banking license will be cancelled. There are frauds that can happen. There are accounting, such accounting that's illegal. The control on that different system. Intentionally doing that and making a system to do that is a different concept. People cheat, it's in the nature of people. At times, people do fraud, people do accounting app, but system works better way. It controls that. The government is out of control. The government is out of control, and it happens every time. So, I mean, I'll say let's the politics out of it. I think till the time we need people, even like 5 or 10 people need cash, we'll have to keep the cash. We cannot go contactless all the time. We're not autocratic country. We're not dictatorship. We are secular. So we need it. When we have everyone moved on, everyone comfortable, I think you have a problem at hand, and the problem is building that trust. So the banks, how banks can solve is to understand you and bring trust to their banking system. The questions you raise are valuable for them. Questions we collectively raise to the banks are valuable, and we're trying to bring those trust in. Laughed off this latest question.
Thank you so much, John. I know this is a discussion, a lot is going on. Thank you for all your questions. Please join me in thanking our guest speaker.
Thank you.